All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. We'll get started here in just a minute. Just quickly just a couple things here. All right. All right, big day today. Big day. Big day for analysis, potentially for trading too. We'll see. All right, let me know if you guys can hear me okay, and then we're going to get started here in just a minute. All right. Okay. Wait, just another second. There you go. Ready to go. All right. Good morning, everybody, and happy Thursday. This is our last set the market for this week. But we're going to go through a bunch of stuff here for perspective I think is going to be really important. Also, if you guys have any questions, please do ask questions. I know a lot of times this has been a monologue. I'm going to start inviting guests to this as well, starting either next week or the week after. We had to figure out the technology to make that happen, but I think we got it down. But if you guys have any questions, please let me know. That's kind of the whole point, to be able to be live here 10, 15 minutes and go through the most important things. So if you're here the first time, thank you and good morning for being here. This is our Set the Market morning show. Serge Berger from The Steady Trader. The point is to go through the top couple of things here that we're watching. And of course, this morning we have to look at NVIDIA. Now, obviously, NVIDIA is an important stock. And I'm going to give you some statistics here. I've got my other set of computers over here. Excuse me. So I'll give you the statistics. 1 second. So I think NVIDIA is something like it's almost like a quarter of the SMH or the SOX index, and it's something like it's somewhere between 6 and 7% of the S&P 500, depending on where it trades. So obviously, it's an important stock, and if you look at the shares this morning, let me quickly share this with you. This is just two charts, so you can kind of see how this is trading in sync. I know these are a bit small, but the point is more, just look at how the S&P is trading almost exactly. In fact, it is trading exactly in sync with NVIDIA. So I've been up, watching this and doing some trades. And by the way, I should mention this. I'm going to make a big deal about this. I am prepping for a massive, and I mean massive, trading year next year. I don't think we've had trading years for the past number of years. We've had, except maybe 2022, we've had trend following years. I don't think I've done this many trades in a decade, honestly. If I were to annualize what I've done over the past 2 weeks, and it's highly profitable, and I think it's going to be a crazy, crazy good year, full of opportunity this coming year, and it already is right now. Things will start to slow down as we head towards Christmas, of course, but just checking the statistics there, but we should be good for now. So this is important, right? So NVIDIA basically trades along with the S&P. Now, right now, actually, NVIDIA is actually up after earnings, up about 2%. It was down as much as 3%. And remember, the most important thing that I said the past few days heading towards NVIDIA here too, is that we have to be open-minded. The stock can do anything. It can go up and go down. There's underlying tailwinds for the stock, no doubt, But I will tell you that we will one day have a problem with this stock, not because of the fundamentals necessarily, but because of the crowding in the stock. And this is where I severely disagree with people that are just looking at this from a fundamental perspective. There's a crowding aspect, because if you look at it from a fundamental perspective, you're not looking at it from a portfolio manager's perspective. There is a huge chasm there, and that can cause problems. Clearly, we're not there today. Certainly wasn't my call that we would be. I want to be open-minded. So, where could this thing go? Let's talk a little bit about where this thing could go. And again, keep in mind the correlation. So, on a day like today, from a short-term perspective, what I really want to do is I want to watch what NVIDIA does and how it correlates to, let's say, the S&P, but also to the NASDAQ 100, right? Because, again, it's all the same trade. So what I certainly don't want to do on a day like today is, let's say, put on a bullish trade in NVIDIA, but be short the index. Unless I'm doing like some sort of really complex, very, 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 very short-term arb trade, which is probably not what most retail investor try to do. That's more of a, an institutional thing. And even there, it's hardly adds a lot of alpha. So on a day like today, you want to very, very closely watch NVIDIA. So keep in mind, this is now the overnight price action in NVIDIA. I've got the Vertical X Pro indicator on here. If you're using that, please use it if you have it, and use the trender as well. They're fabulous indicators, and they're going to be so profitable here in this environment that I think we're going to have going forward. Overnight price action in NVIDIA is this gray area, right? So you've got two reference points right now for NVIDIA and for the broader market as such. And that is basically the overnight lows, which were for NVIDIA were about 139.5. So that's down here. Okay, that's the overnight price action is in gray, right? And I would encourage everyone to put on the overnight price action on indices, certainly for futures and big stocks like this, because then you have reference points that you otherwise don't have. If I wouldn't have this overnight price action on, the only price reference points I would have would be yesterday's close, which is an important level, but clearly given the overnight price action after earnings, NVIDIA has now other reference points that we need to be aware of. So the overnight price action, the lows are very important. If for some reason we were to go through those below this morning, and or today, I have no clue, right? I'm just saying if that's a reference point we want to respect. In terms of upside, we are at fresh all-time highs overnight, and I think actually, let me see, we might even be at fresh all-time highs for the stock in general, or just at it this morning. So there's not a whole lot of reference above. The only thing we have, and again, this matters to the broader market, right? This matters because of the algos. It's all one big trade. At least for now. At some point that'll end, and then we'll have a different story. But on the daily chart, you can kind of see that, yeah, we're pushing to fresh all-time highs this morning. That's great, right? So now we have a reference point intraday. We have, or I don't know if it's all-time highs, but it's, let me see. Anyway, we're really darn close. If we didn't, yeah, I actually think we are. I think let's call it all-time high. So we really don't have anything above to measure, right? The only thing we have, and I'll give you this, is a potential upside price target. You can use something called a Fibonacci retracement. That's a very simple way of measuring things, but it can work on trend following stories like this, particularly when the algos are involved. So what you want to do is you want to take a simple Fibonacci retracement. You take the last low and then go to the next higher low. So you take the low of, in this case, October 31st, Halloween, measure it up to that all-time high. And you can see on a daily closing basis, we held 61.8%, which for me is an important Fibonacci number. Some people like the 70, whatever the next one is. I don't care that much for it, but that's neither here nor there. So now a next upside target, if we were to be able to hold above the to fresh all-time highs, would be a 23% Fibonacci extension. This is very technical, and you know me, I like to talk technicals, but I will be the first to tell you that if that's all you do, you're missing on things. So I'm hopefully educating or helping you kind of go down the journey of looking at other stuff than just technicals. Technicals are important, right? Do not hear me otherwise. But I think we could see a potential price target at a 23% 23.6% Fibonacci extension. So that's basically just that's a Fibonacci level. So it's a 23% extension above the previous all-time high. So I'm measuring this move. So basically you have an A, B, C move. And so if we were to see that level, then from where the stock is trading at now, which is basically all-time high pre-market, you'd have a price target about another 2.5% higher. 2.5% is nothing. The stock can do 2.5% in half an hour, right? But I'm just trying to show you how I'm looking to measure these kind of levels. I'm going to take a quick pause here, take some tea. Do you guys have any questions on this? Is this at all helpful? Do you give any crap at all about this? I need some feedback on this kind of stuff because I don't know if it's helpful or what. But we have two levels here. Again, the upside target, 23.6% extension. That's, again, very near term. And we have the overnight lows, which I just showed you before, are for NVIDIA and for the broader market are important. And it's 139.5 on the daily chart, on the intraday chart. Okay. Question from Nicholas: isn't the SPY valuations very stretched? And I would like to hear you. Gap fills, maybe futures. Yes. Okay. So yes. Look, the market is stretched. There is a time frame question, folks. Okay. So Nicholas, you're asking a tremendous question. You're also asking a question that I can see that I know most people struggle with. Like, I have this discussion every single day where people cannot, for whatever reason, get their head around different time frames. I've done this too long, so for me it's hard to kind of understand why people can't understand it, but I'm trying to help, right? So, Nicholas, you're talking about a valuation question, okay? You're talking about a valuation question. The S&P, I think, is stretched. It's probably trading at 22, 23 forward earnings for next year. That's by my math, okay? Is that high? Yes. In fact, I can have a chart for you on that. Let me find it 1 second. Where is it? Come on, chart. Where is it? Oh, here. Here's the chart. I think I showed this a couple of days ago. So this is a chart. This is just from 1990 to 2018. Okay, so the average forward PE for the S&P is roughly 17 over the course of that time. We've had higher multiples since COVID because of all the liquidity in the market, closer to 19, 20. But now we're trading 22, 23. And last time we were within that vicinity and actually above it was in the year 2000. Right? So from a valuation perspective, yes, things are stretched. Listen, NVIDIA is stretched from a price to sales perspective. It's trading at 26 forward sales, price to sales, sorry. It doesn't mean the stock has to go down though. It can grow into those valuations in some shape or form. So Nicholas, let me know if you understand this. I mean, notice the time frames I'm talking about right now. I was just telling you about like literally overnight support. That has nothing to do with the forward valuation of the S&P, which is a 12-month problem, right? Like that is such a mix of time frames. It's like talking oranges, but really I want to eat a cheeseburger kind of thing, right? So same thing for the upside target here. This 2.5% move it's laughable. Look, NVIDIA just moved. Let me just put this into perspective. NVIDIA just moved 2.5% while I had breakfast. So the overnight, I had breakfast around, I think, that period of time here right there. So it just moved 5% over the past couple of hours. So please, guys, please understand this. This is so fucking important, and I hate to curse here, but it is so damn important to understand this stuff. The quicker you understand this, the less chance you blow up your account. A lot of people are going to blow up their accounts over the next few years because the bull market's not going to continue at this rate. People hate to hear me say this, but I'm 100% certain that is going to happen because we can have more volatility and people are not going to know what to do anymore because tech stocks are not going to go vertical anymore for a while, right? You need to differentiate time frame and you need to have a diversified damn portfolio to start with. It's really, really important, okay? The CAPE ratio, Mike, is stretched too. The CAPE ratio, which is a cyclically adjusted ratio of PE, they're all stretched, every single one of them. That doesn't mean the stock market has to crash today, right? The market, look, the market can go higher for way longer than is rational, largely because of greed. And we live in a massive gambling bubble. I've been saying this now for a long time. That hasn't changed. But we can still push higher because there's a lot of fund managers right now that are basically underperforming the market this time of year, and they usually are. So we can. That's why I'm actually bullish the S&P here for, towards sort of the Christmas period, because I don't think people are willing to short this market and be successful. The machines buy all the time. Strategists are always bullish because they have to be. The strategists are for investment banks. They have to. They're marketing machines for the investment bank. Trust me, I did that for a long time. I know, right? They're never going to be bearish. They might be a little bit cautious. They're never going to be bearish. They're never going to be bearish. And they're never going to see a bear market coming. They just zero chance. It doesn't suit the business model. Let's see, what other questions do we have? Jeanette has a question. Since NVIDIA is saturated, what market would you trade instead of opportunity? Okay, so yes, good question. So first of all, I do think this NVIDIA trade is one that I'm looking at, right? So I just gave you that trade. I do think on the Fibonacci extension, I think, let's go back to it, NVDA. I think we could see an upside target of 153.50. So I do think we could see that. I'm very closely watching the futures. I'm using my TSD trender indicator. So that's what I'm going to be using to trade this. I don't really want to trade NVIDIA as a single name stock. I just find it more relevant to trade the futures. So just to give you an idea, I actually got a buy signal from the TSD trender. It's our momentum indicator. I got it just after breakfast, actually, there. This was early this morning, I think like 5 in the morning. And the S&P's gone straight up higher since. So, yeah. So anyway, folks, we're just at the 15-minute mark. I hope this is helpful. So I'm really looking to trade the futures here. There are going to be, and you can trade the SPY, right? The SPY or the QQQ. Just look for momentum. We already have a massive momentum opportunity. I think 2025 is going to be a ridiculously great trading year, because we haven't had trading years for the past few years. We've had trend following years, right? And so don't mistake blindly buying the dip for trading. That's not trading, that's trend following. And mostly that's blindly buying like without any context. That works in bull markets where everything goes up. But when you have a trading year, which is much more like this, and which I think we'll have, you're going to want to become a trader, not a blindly buy the dip because your neighbor or someone on TV said you have to buy the stock. That's probably not going to work. But I'm looking to trade the futures. Again, the upside target on NVIDIA, as I said, if we continue to work this, is about 153.40. So thank you all for joining. Have a great weekend. We're going to be not doing this tomorrow, Friday, because we do Monday through Thursday. Plus, I still need to give my voice a bit of a rest. I'm still coughing, unfortunately. But I'm getting my strength back. So if you guys have any questions, please let us know. You can always email support@thesteadytrader.com. Leave any comments down here. Please give us a thumbs up, Please follow the channel. Really important, because that way you get alert in real time. We're going to do a lot more pop-up live sessions. I might even start doing some live trading sessions here as we start seeing this market become more and more dynamic. And again, any feedback, let me know. Have a great weekend. Good luck today.